Hello everyone, I'm Tony Filosi with Appalachia History and Mysteries. Miss Darla couldn't be with us tonight due to unforeseen circumstances, but boy have we got a great episode for you. It takes place in Harlan County, Kentucky in 1925 with more twists and turns than a country road. So sit back and enjoy the story of Mary Vickery, the girl who wouldn't die. Friday, August 17th, 1925. Headline: Child Kidnapped. Mr. Vickery has posted a reward of $150 for any information concerning his daughter's whereabouts. He thinks she has been kidnapped from her home, but they have not received a ransom note or have any idea who the kidnappers may be. Mary Vickery is about 5 feet tall, heavily built, with a dark complexion. From the outside, it looks like a grieving father pleading for his daughter back. But when the truth is unveiled, it will change several lives forever. This is her story. Headline: Thursday, October 22nd, 1925. Body of missing girl found. Discovery ends mystery of months. Assailant sought. The decomposed body of a female was found about 1 mile from Harlan late Wednesday afternoon by Deputy United States Marshal Adrian Metcalf and Deputy Sheriff Art Hensley. The body was, as well as the clothing, were in such a state of decomposition that identification was impossible. But a hat found with the body was identified by her father as Mary's. The parents identified the hat but had no explanation for the heavy coat she was wrapped in. It was August when the victim vanished. Also, the officers had no explanation for the state of decomposition. It was much more than it should have been for 2 months in a mine where the environment is much cooler and drier than outside. Deputy Marshal Metcalf was supposed to be searching in the mines for a moonshine still when he accidentally came across the body under a pile of stones. The mines were visited again a few days later, and a small ruby ring was found. Mr. Vickery said it resembles one he had bought his daughter. Headline: Friday, November 13th, 1925. Dabney arrested on strength of an investigation by G.J. Jarvis and a signed statement by Mr. Vickery. Sheriff Blair notified authorities at Coal Creek, Tennessee, that Condi Dabney was wanted in connection with the disappearance of Mary Vickery. Dabney was allegedly working at Coxton when the girl vanished. Headline: Friday, March 12, 1926. Dabney waives hearing. Condi Dabney, charged with the rape and murder of Mary Vickery, was arraigned yesterday morning in a packed courtroom. Dabney waived an examination and was ordered held without bond by Judge Howard. Headline: Dabney given life sentence. Marie Jackson held and will be tried as an accomplice. We, the jury, agree and find the defendant guilty and fix his punishment at imprisonment in the state penitentiary for life. Condi Dabney was charged with taking Mary Vickery, a 14-year-old female, to an abandoned mines on the afternoon of August 18th. We were supposed to have clubbed her to death and then assaulted the body, hiding the girl in the mines. The body was discovered on October 21st by revenue officers looking for moonshine stills on a tip. Marie Jackson, indicted as an accessory to murder, admitted to riding with Dabney and the Vickery girl to the mines, and at the request of Dabney took a walk away from the couple. Jackson testified that she did not go far and spied on the pair from behind some trees close by. Dabney was supposed to have tried to embrace Mary, but she resisted and started to struggle. It was then Dabney struck her in the head with a club. Jackson states that it was then Dabney assaulted the girl and afterward dragged her body into the mines. Dabney told me if I said anything at all, he would take me to the tallest mountain around and burn me alive. Several witnesses besides Jackson testified against Dabney, with 3 saying they saw Mary in the car on the day she disappeared. Dabney testified he did not know the Vickers girl, but as he used his car running a taxi service for the last several months, it was possible he had given her a ride. But he saw so many people he could not remember all the faces. He also confessed to hauling men and women to secluded places while he waited for them to return from their walk. But in his opinion, they were engaged in immoral conduct, which was none of his business, as they were paying customers. Headline: April 1926. Article: Saturday, April 3rd, 1926. Thanks prosecution team. The people of Harlan owe County Attorney G.J. Jarvis a debt of gratitude for the manner in which he tracked down the murderer Condi Dabney, responsible for the killing of Mary Vickery. Dabney was convicted by 12 splendid citizens of Harlan County who fixed his punishment at life. Mr. Jarvis was acting county attorney at the time of the murder, and by his splendid determination, he was able to find and prosecute the heinous murderer Condy Dabney for the killing of Mary Vickery. In fact, too much credit cannot be given to this soldier of justice and the great victory he achieved. Man, that was a fantastic testimony for the hero of the day, except they overlooked a small but kind of important detail. Mary Vickery was still alive and heading back to Harlan. Headline, Sunday, March 20th, 1927. Man convicted of murder, yet woman still alive. Mary Vickery returns from the dead. Mary Vickery, age 16, for whose murder Condy Dabney was sentenced to life imprisonment, registered at a local hotel in Williamsburg, Kentucky. After numerous people recognized her, the authorities took her into custody. Officials were notified in Harlan County, where she was supposed to have been slain in August of 1925. Her body was reported to be found in an abandoned mine in October of the same year. Sheriff John Ward of Harlan County asked for Miss Vickery to be detained for questioning. Miss Vickery's initial statement to law enforcement was that she disappeared from her home because she was not happy there with her father and stepmother. She also states that she had Condy Dabney take her to the train station where she went to Cincinnati, Ohio to work. I heard about Dabney being charged, she said, with killing me. But I did not want to be taken back home, so I kept silent and did not reveal I was still alive. What a friend, right? I stood it as long as I could and came back so Dabney could be set free. When interviewed about the news of Mary Vickery returning from the dead, he stated that he was sworn into the penitentiary, an innocent man, by his jealous lover, Marie Jackson, who wanted him to leave his wife and 2 children, which he would not do. Dabney came to Harlan County looking for work. The coal mines in Coal Creek, Tennessee were slow and he was laid off. He met Marie Jackson shortly after arriving in Harlan, and they began having an affair when he would not leave his wife and young children. She swore she would get even with him. From all reports, Miss Jackson was an attractive woman of bad reputation that kept the company of small-time criminals and thugs of the worst sort. Headline, Thursday, March 24th, 1927. Governor Fields pardons Dabney. For the first time in his term, Governor Fields received a convicted man in his office. The governor personally presented Dabney with his pardon, stating, "I am glad to be able to help right this injustice that was done to you." Dabney, who had served 10 months of his sentence, declared again that Marie Jackson had sworn him into the penitentiary because he refused to desert his family. Closing thoughts. 1. This is another example of justice gone bad. You have a deputy marshal that without a doubt had gotten a tip either from Marie Jackson or someone that knew the body was in the mine. It was impossible to make moonshine inside the mine. No water, no lights, no way to heat the steel. If you started a fire, you would either suffocate or blow yourself up if there was gas in the mines, which is common after they are abandoned for a while. They all knew this, every one of them being very familiar with how mines work. 2. The body was a small-framed female, badly decomposed, with a winter coat on. The temperature in the mines would have been a constant 55 degrees and dry. It would have taken years for the body to decompose in the state it was found in. Again, they knew this as all of them had either worked in or had relatives that worked in the mines. Mary Vickery was big-boned and had disappeared in the summer. 3. The items found were identified as Mary's after the deputy marshal and the Harlan County attorney kept insisting. "Are you sure it's not hers? You said she had a hat sort of like that. What about the ruby ring that turned up a few days later?" The Vickerys lived in Coxton Coal Camp. Mr. Vickery worked in the mines. He would not have had the money to spare for a ruby ring for a teenager, and again, no one could explain the coat. 4. The warrant was granted because of G.J. Jarvis and Mr. Vickery's insistence. Not by overwhelming evidence. Let's see, an acting county attorney, maybe wanting to be full-time, a deputy U.S. Marshal that just happened to be looking for a moonshine still that he knew could not operate in those conditions, and probably loved having his name in the paper as a hard-charging revenue officer, bringing moonshiners to justice. 5. A perfect scapegoat. A man from out of state with no family here to worry about when they convicted him of a crime. They knew he didn't commit the crime. Guys, I just want to let you know that there could be some discrepancies in the name. Some of the newspaper articles call her Mary Vickers and some Mary Vickery. I chose to use Vickery, but you know, again, it's been 99 years since this happened, so you know, these mistakes do happen. But anyways, I wanted to let you know that for all the fact checkers out there. In closing, Marie Jackson was convicted of perjury and sent to prison. When released, she left Harlan County for good. Mary Vickery married soon after returning to Harlan and left again, never to come back. Adrian Metcalf was killed a few years later from ambush by a young moonshiner he had wounded several months before. Condy Dabney returned to Tennessee to his family and was lost to the mist of time. Thank you for watching this episode of Appalachia History and Mysteries. Please like and subscribe and let us know what you would like to see in the future. Until next time, this is Tony Filosi. Thank you very much.